Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, happy Sunday, friends. It's almost here. It's the most spookiest time of the year, so I had to do a final spooky felt. I hope everybody is awesome. What we're going to do today, I'm going to be doing the Maker's needle felted pumpkins with spaces with faces. That's the third project out of the box that they sent us. Before we get started, I do want to say last week when we did the pumpkin with the people pumpkin, I made a mistake. It said to use the fairy head and body thing, and I thought that was something on their website. I hadn't noticed tucked away they'd given us a fourth set of directions for things to do in this pack, so everything was in this pack. So that was entirely my fault that I was having to make up the method, and the method they've given us looks absolutely awesome. It looks a whole lot of great fun, and it makes me giggle because where did I read this bit? It says, yes, these instructors use the maker's method of the moustache lollipop technique. I love that. You girls are amazing. Featured in their Making Simple Needle Felts book. So a whole technique that is probably way better than what I've done. Also, while losing my voice again, while I'm stabbing, we'll have time to chat. I want to talk into the next step, what things I'm thinking about, what I hope everyone should be thinking about if you're selling online, especially selling on Etsy, what things we're thinking about for Christmas just now, and then any of your questions. Gives me time to do things while I'm stabbing. And also, I've been so bad at keeping up with the comments on this channel, so I'll answer some of them there. But firstly, I'll have a drink of juice and then I'll check who's in the chat. Great content. You come on and just watch me drinking. People would pay for that, wouldn't they? People are weird. Lena's in the house. Hello there. And Salon Sonic, CJ Phoenix Dragon. Hello. Marsha's Mixed Media. Good morning. And Bublach. Am I saying? Is that even a look? Am I saying Scottish words? Bublach. No, I'm not even going to try. But am I close? Anyway, hello. Awesome to see everybody here. Okay, so for those who haven't been before, it's going to be a stab and a talk. So if you want to join in and stab along with us, if you just want to chill out and watch me hopefully create something awesome, or or if you just want to chat about Etsy, that's the kind of things I'm doing. And this is from one of the makers, which is a needle felting kit, a needle felting company in the UK. They have monthly subscription kits, surprise boxes. They do a December calendar for little projects and things all through December. Awesome girls. And so this was one of their kits that one of their project boxes, monthly subscription box, there's even the right word. And we've had 3 projects out of this. A couple of weeks ago we did a ghost, last week we did a little pumpkin people, and this week is the final one. It's pumpkin faces. So what we need for this, if you're looking to get started with something like this, and this is a skill level of a very easy beginner skill, we need white core bats, orange and lichen green, merino yellow, grey brown, and curly locks, and felting needles and scissors and basic things. This should make a 6 by 6 centimetre piece. I'm just looking at how big 6 centimetres is. That's a good size for me. I like centimetres. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is make a ball into a short, wrap up a ball. I can do that. So I'm taking some of this. It says about 10 grams, but I'm just going to estimate to make about a 6 centimetre sized piece. What you can usually do, Pam's tips, is if you super compress the fluff, you'll see what it's going to turn into. So that's a bit small for about 6 centimetres. So about this much loose fluff should turn into about this much pumpkin. So I think that'll be pretty good. So I'm just gonna roll this kind of tightly. I don't want it super tight. We're not wanting it super tight because we're sculpting shapes in it, but I want to felt this into a circular-y shape. Let's grab my needle without hitting the mic. No, failed. Hit the mic. Sorry about that, guys. Alright. Who else has come in? So I'm just, if you don't know, when you're felting, to get a smooth surface, to get a shape of a surface, your needle wants to go in perpendicular to where you want the final surface to be. So for a bowl, I'm just moving my needle all the way around and trying not to hit my fingers. We've got Canvas and Chroma, good morning, and Lena saying hello to everyone. Lisa, afternoon, been enjoying your channel for a while now. Thank you so much, that's so kind of you. Over the last few weeks we have had an influx of lovely people, just the nicest comments, so thank you so much, keep it up. Right, so while we're doing this, I just want to chat a little bit, because I've been asked loads of times, Pam, what should we be doing for Christmas? So the one thing that I'm seriously thinking about this week is, if you make one-of-a-kind custom-made items, now is the time to figure out how many you can make. Well, figure out when the last shipping days for Christmas are for each country, and figure out just how many you can make. If you got in a ton of orders, because it could happen, and you were creating the full time you can put into it, how many could you make between now and when the last shipping day for Christmas is? And give yourself that as a limit. Say, I'm figuring out, I've got to sit down and do it a little more properly, but I'm figuring out I'm down to about 40 orders maximum just now that I can take before I'm not going to guarantee Christmas shipping anymore. And don't leave it too tight. Every year I try and not do this, and people come in at the last minute with orders going, can you just do this in time for Christmas? And I'm like, okay, I'll try. And then I'm panicking because I've sent them on the last shipping day and I'm hoping they'll get there in time for Christmas, or there's just about time but the customer wants hundreds of different little tweaks and things, and which they're absolutely right to. But if you're in a hurry for Christmas and you're particular with the tweaks, then don't leave it to the last minute. Totally understand, but yeah. So give yourself a good cut-off. So it's hard to do this, but give yourself a limit and say, this is the amount that I can make. The other thing is, if your stuff's ready to make, if your stuff's ready made and you can have a few of them, look at what your best selling items are, or what your most popular items are, and see if you can make a few of them, have a good few ready in advance. Now how much, I'm not going to say. Don't go out of your way spending money that you don't have. Make the stuff that you, if you don't have a good Christmas, if you don't sell stuff, it's not going to break the bank. But if you can afford, make a few so you've got them ready to go. That's my Black Cat bookmark. That tends to be fairly popular. I've already had a few orders in for that now, so I try and make sure that I've got a few on stock so that I'm not panicking. If they come in, I just bung them in a box, ship them out. So that's what I'm looking at to just now for getting ready for Christmas. It's frightening how soon it feels to be. But thank you. Anyway, any of you in the chat, let me know what you guys are doing for Christmas. If you're preparing anything, thinking of preparing anything, if you're getting fed up of mass producing your most popular item. I know I've retired some lines because they were annoying me. Right, let's just check the chat. Skywolf, hi Pam, how are you doing today? Can you do a review on silicone molds work with needle felting? I did, well, not molds, I've done one video a while ago on cookie cutter molds. Do you call them molds? On silicone cookie cutters with needle felting. I've not used actual silicone molds for needle felting. I've seen that some people do. I'll find it and give it a try. I'm not the biggest fan though, because the barbs on your needles don't go right down to the very bottom. So if you were stabbing into a mould underneath your item, you wouldn't be able to get this bit wouldn't be fully felted, I don't think. But I'll have a look. I know some people do use moulds, so what I'll do, yeah, I'm gonna have a look on Wish and see if there's a kit on there, or I'll try. We'll maybe compare. We'll do like Wish, Amazon, and eBay. I'll do a wee kit and I'll give that a go, because I know it totally helps some people, get them confidence to get started. A Skywolf, you're doing your first craft fair. Oh, awesome! Making a whole load of Christmas stuff. That's great. I had so many plans for Christmas stuff. I was excited to do like little dogs in Christmas stockings, but I've just ran out of time. Christmas got here. And please get a foam mat. You're scared of me poking myself with a needle. I can't work. Everyone's different, and I'm not going to tell anyone that they're doing anything wrong. Firstly, I just want to show you, with this, I'm completely safe at the minute because my needle is shorter than the size of the object. So if I'm always stabbing right into the centre of this object, there's absolutely no problem. But also what I'm always doing, how I'm holding it, I'm stabbing in between where my fingers are. I'm not going to say I never stab myself, but I stab if I'm on a mat and you're holding things like this, I actually catch my fingers more, because you're less aware of where the tops of your fingers are than where the tips of your fingers are. You're sort of aware of where they are in the world, and it's easier to. I'm freaking people out. It's like playing that knife game, isn't it? So I'm always making sure that my needle goes in between where my fingers are, and it's never really pointing at my fingers. And the other thing is, if it does hit my fingers, I'm not holding it super tightly, so I'm not stabbing with force. So if it touches my fingers, I'm not stabbing myself there, it's just touching and stopping. So sorry if it's freaking you out, but this is, I find if I get a mat, then I've got to sit at a table and I'm kind of hunched over a bit, and I'm not saying my slouchiness here is the best posture, but this way I can just sit in a comfortable position and I can felt for much more hours. So that's that. But everyone's different, and if you like, I know a lot of people like to craft up at a table like a grown-up, unlike me, because you set yourself up and you're in the right mind space. For me, I prefer to just be sitting. I can watch the telly, I can talk to you, I can freak you out. But yeah, this way I get a lot more work done because I'm chilled. I can just sit and enjoy it. I probably wouldn't do a craft that involved me having to sit up at a table and sort of set time aside. It's much easier. I can be sitting watching telly, like a movie comes on, and think, I'm going to be sat here for a couple of hours. I'll just sit and stab something. I sound like a serial killer now, but you know what I mean. Lily Trees in the house. Hello there. Canvas and Chroma. 2 weeks ago, the strangest thing happened. I only had one visit, but the person bought something, so for your entire day the conversion rate was 100%. That's awesome. And although we talk about conversion rates and everything, you only need the one right person, so that's really cool. But also it could be someone that had come in like the day before and they come back, but hey, 100% conversion for a day is fantastic. Skywolf Animation, you are most welcome. Thank you for the ideas. I do need a push sometimes to try kind of new things, especially like I think about the silicone molds and I always think they're for wet felting, but now you've said it, I do remember seeing some people making stuff with them. Yeah, I will search for, if anyone sees anything that looks fun that isn't like super expensive, but anyone sees something that they want me to try, tag me in it, link me to it, and I'll see, so I get the idea of what you're all thinking about. But yeah, overall I'm willing to try anything. Hey, I've got a video where I felted blindfolded, so I'll do anything. Okay, so we've got, excuse me, make this into a bowl shape, felt down to a medium firmness. It says about the size of a tennis ball. I might have gone a wee bit smaller, but it's not bad, not bad. I could probably go a little bit firmer, but it's holding its shape. It's doing pretty good, so we'll go with that. Pumpkin, use 2 to 3 pinches of pumpkin coloured wool bats and mix them. Right, same as we did before. Awesome. So if you were here last week, you saw this. So just going to take some of this bright screaming orange pumpkin, and now I don't have to worry about using it all up because this is the last project. We're nearly finished with Halloween. So just taking a few different colours of pumpkin-y orangey colours, and I'm just pulling them apart and stacking them on top of each other to make a more variegated shade, because in nature things aren't usually just one solid screaming orange colour. It's the same with anything. Whatever you're making, you usually are better with a mix of colours rather than just one solid colour. So let's just blend that up. Right, I just want to nip over to my channel comments now as well, because like I say, I have been really terrible at answering all your questions. So we'll get onto that as well. So firstly, we have from Karam, how can I have a thumbnail that shows most of my image? Each time Etsy crops the image, I don't get the result I want in the thumbnail. Adjusting it is useless then. Yeah, I've found that as well. First things first is you want to go and look at the size that Etsy's telling us they want an image to be. It doesn't always work, but if you can, depending on whatever photo editing software you've got, but try and set your canvas to the size that they tell us to. I can't remember what the sizes are offhand just now, but create a canvas in that size or crop. Well, what I tend to do, I'm in Photoshop, but it works in a lot of things. I know even like Canva, the free thing, you pick your canvas size before you get started. So choose what size you want it to be, which is going to be a square or slightly off square format. If someone can let me know, if you can Google and see what Etsy thumbnail what Etsy image thumbnail size should be. I just checked it out the other day, but my keyboard's under a dog just now. And then when you're setting up, when you're opening your photo editing software, you just put that size in and then paste your image on top of that so you get it to the right size. But even then it's not perfect, so take a bit of trial and error with different canvas sizes, and then once you get the one that works, that you can at least adjust your image for. Because I totally agree, you follow what Etsy's telling you. You make the right sized canvas for a thing, and then when you put it up and it goes adjust thumbnail and you're like, yeah, you're totally missing the picture, the whole picture that I got. The other thing is to create them, save them and edit them reasonably square, but give yourself a little border around the edge, a little border of white. Don't crop in too tight, so that when you go to crop your thumbnail, when you go and sort out your thumbnail, you've got a bit of space so you can adjust it so that your picture actually fits in. It's an absolute pain in the backside. Etsy thumbnails are never quite perfect for me, I'm afraid. Do my best, but yeah, they seem to change their mind all the time. Right, so that's okay. It's not perfectly variegated, but it'll do good. Oh, but yeah, thank you. I was just going to say, it doesn't look so great, but it says, don't worry if the colour looks patchy. Real pumpkins have blemishes too. So I'm going to take little bits of this colour, pop it over this colour, and make a nice orange ball. Excuse me, I'll just check chat while I'm doing this. Canvas. If you want your thumbnail image to show your entire product, make it oversized, then use the Etsy zoom function to zoom in on a product. Yep, that makes total sense. I think that's where I was trying to get to as well. Yeah, make your picture too big so that you can zoom in on it. Absolutely. Oh, I'm glad you agree there. Etsy image thumbnails are stupid and way more work than it should be. I'm glad I'm not the only one that finds that. It should be easy. You know, anywhere else you can generally get a reasonable thumbnail pretty quickly. But yeah, don't zoom in too tight. Leave space so you can zoom in on the... I'm pretending my face is the object here. So you would have your picture like this, and then you would be able to zoom it in. I think that's the best way to do it, and I completely agree. Lily has a sudden flashback of those trolls with the hair. I'm guessing I have one. I really do want to start making trolls. I love trolls. If everyone knows what I'm talking about, I assume you're talking about the same things, the little things with the people with the hair. I'm so good with words today. The little things with the people with the hair. That's one of my best. I'm feeling so tired, and I shouldn't be. For everyone else in the world, am I on at a slightly different time? Because in the UK the clocks have changed, but I think the rest of the world changes at different times than what we change at. So I might be a little bit of a different time just now. This would be an hour later. Yeah, an hour later. So have you guys changed your clocks yet? Are you going to change your clocks? What time in the world is it for you? I'm intrigued where everyone's at. That all this time zones confuse me enough, but changing time zones makes it so much more difficult for me. I'm not good at this sort of thing. Right, we've nearly got our pumpkin coloured in screaming bright orange. This is quite a colour. I'm trying not to get too many of the bad patchy bits, but the makers are right. Pumpkins are not even, they're natural without blemish, with plenty of blemishes. Alright, I'm just going to felt all over this a little bit to kind of smooth it and hold everything down. I don't want to felt too hard because I know we've got a lot of shaping to go on after this. Chroma, but Etsy won't fix the things that need fixing. They just keep breaking the things that work perfectly fine. I'm afraid I know what you're saying. They do add some features that are nice, and the thing is, they seem to sneak these features in. Like, I hadn't noticed at all in the new order, or it's a couple of years old, but in the order thing where you can add things when orders come in, and then you add them, you move them to in progress, and then you move them to completed. I hadn't noticed that you can add other little sections to put them in there, and that has helped so much that I can, when an order comes in, when I've started dealing with it, I can move it into in progress, and then once I've sent the photo and I'm waiting if I need any revisions, then I can move it into photo sent. So that makes so much easier. But I didn't see them announce that hugely. They're saying now the new conversations, which I'm not the biggest fan of, that they work just like the old ones, but you've also got chat pops up. It makes people feel like you're available for chatting. I prefer just conversations, because then if you're looking at messages, when people have chatted, each time they hit enter, that sends you a new message, which is an absolute pain. It all goes to your email, and you're like, I've had 20 messages, and it's just someone going, hi, do you mind if I ask you a question? I just want to say this thing. It's like, just one message, please. But again, they've got the snippets there that I never knew they had, or they've renamed it something else. I'd never noticed that before, but if you've got standard replies that you're given all the time, you can just create a snippet, which I wish I'd known about, because I would have made a really good snippet. Lily Treat was the hair. Yeah, cool. I thought so. This is kind of trollish hair. Lily, the UK's closer to America for a week. We upped and moved our island. Andrea, hello. It's 6:23 in Romania. Oh yeah, you are, because we're 4:25. But yeah, so we're 2 hours behind you now. So yeah, so Europe hasn't moved, and we're two hours different now. Cool. Do you guys move into? It's not winter time. Summertime's when it's wrong. But yes, the 2 hours, so it's more your evening. Lena, you've changed to 7 hours now instead of 6. Yep. And Drea, you changed last night. Yeah, we did as well. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. The clocks change. CG Phoenix, you're in Ontario, Canada, and it's 12:23, just after lunch. And hi. Yeah, so definitely we are, because usually people over on that coast were somewhere around 11:30 by about this stage. So yeah, it's now your lunchtime. So it's a bit later on a Sunday. Oh, at home in British Columbia, it's 9:30 a.m. 3 or 4 different time zones in Canada. Yeah, I know you get that. All the bigger continents, we don't have that here. So it's kind of weird to think of people in the same country can be in different time zones. But yeah, that massive world, the non-flat world. I suppose even a flat world. So I don't want to get all debatey, but even if the world's flat, I suppose you have time zones. Trying to work out the science of 2 different types. Wendy, hello there. How are you doing? Good to see you. Right. How are we? And for anyone just joined us, we are felting along with the Maker's Pumpkins with Faces set. This should be a nice beginner set for everyone who's not felted or just wants something easy. You can just sit and chat and felt yourself. So far, we've got a bright orange bowl. Or if you're Lily, you might have a bright green and fluorescent pink bowl, because Lily's way better at colours than me. Right, anyway, okay, bright orange bowl. What's it saying now? Make the seams. Great. I don't know if I've got any of the brown left because I've been picking up and dropping things from this bag, so I'll just take some from my regular stash of wool, which just happens to sit here. So we're going to make the seams around the pumpkin. Leaving about 1/3 seamless for the face. I'm just looking at what. Okay, yeah, so we're going to go around the back of the pumpkin, but leave the front. Going to pick an area for his face. I think his face should come in here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the wool from the top and twist it to make a little seam down the side, and felt that backwards and forwards, and it makes the bits pop out. It makes the bits that you're felting go in and the bits that you're not felting pop out. I'll show you in a second, even better, hopefully, once I get all these seams on. Checking chat. This bit involves me having to look at things even more, so I'm scared. I don't want to stab my fingers when I've just said that I don't stab my fingers and then get told off and have to use a mat. So I'm just paying a bit of attention here to take. So to make a thread out of wool is you just pull it and twist gently, and this pulls it out into a kind of thread for yourself. And here we go, and then it just into the top. I'm getting a little cross section along the top. I just felt it in there, pull it down and meet on the bottom, and I'll do a couple more of these so we've got lines all at the back and then nothing at the front for his face. Where did I get to? Mary is from the UK but lived in Canada for a while. The different time zones blew your mind. Yeah, I can imagine. You think you're phoning someone who's a couple of towns over and they're like, do you not know it's like 6 a.m? Stop that. Crazy. Wendy Taylor, hello there. It has been a while. I was actually just going to message you and check everything was alright. I've not heard from you for ages, so Yay, good to see Wendy. Everyone say hello to Wendy. No, awesome to see you again. And Wendy's been one of our originals on this channel, so awesome to see you. Marsha, yes, strolls and fluorescent. This is my camera picking up things a little bit brighter than they are, but no, this is a fluorescent screaming orange. But it's kind of cool for the pumpkins. Right, so I think that's enough. Leave about a third here for his face, so I'm just getting rid of that wool. Just gonna felt backwards and forwards along each of these little threads to make the seams for his pumpkininess. Mary, the EU's hoping to end the time zones changes. I think it's been something that's discussed lots of times. And the thing that I always get confused about is basically you always think, we were always told they're moving, the clocks go back just now because it means farmers aren't working in the dark or something. Which is bonkers, because farmers work whatever time they need to work to. But the thing that makes it even more bonkers is we always thought just now the clocks are going back because the days are shorter to give us the best window of opportunity. But just now is Greenwich Mean Time. Just now is the proper time. So it's the summer when the clocks are moved. The summer when up here we have like 14-15 hours of daylight, if not even longer further north. So it doesn't matter. The only thing I can think of is in the summer, if we didn't move the clocks forward, spring forward, yeah, we might be getting up, we'd be getting up an hour later, so the day would be hotter. On the rare occasions it gets hotter here, but it would be super hot by the time you're trying to get up to go to work or go to school. Whereas if you get up an hour sooner, then maybe it's a little bit cooler, so you can do your work and everything before it gets super hot. But that's not really a consideration in Scotland. We have like 2 days a year when it gets super hot. But I can see that might be a consideration in other places. Or we could all just have a siesta. That would be even better. Get up early, do our work, have a siesta. Checking the chat again. Everyone saying hello to Wendy, including my mum saying hello to daughter 3. There we are. How we've made you feel welcome, Wendy. Apart from Mary's cry face. A happy cry face. Yay, we'll go with happy tears. That's brilliant. Mary, thank you. It makes sense about the heat of the summer. Yeah, it was just something I thought of. I realised this year when I was going somewhere on a sunny day, and I thought, oh, get up extra early so I can get the dogs out before it's super hot. And then that kind of occurred to me. It'd be like, it's usually, I mean, in Scotland very much, we're like, even in the hottest days, you're kind of cool in the morning and cool late at night. So yeah, that gives us a bit of time. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know what the EU do about the time zones, because it is confusing. Wendy missed her mama too, my mum. Right. Okay. Where have we got to? I'm going to do this a little bit more just from, but you can see where I'm felting in. It kind of makes little dimples that poke out, and it looks very simple. Very simply, it looks quite pumpkin-y. So cool. Happy with how that's going so far. Pumpkins are so much fun to make and so easy to make. I don't think I've done a pumpkin with a face for ages, in fact. Yeah. Guys, let me know in the chat what kind of Halloweeny stuff. Have you made Halloweeny stuff? Have you done any kind of Halloweeny things? I was off out. It was the club I work in's Halloween party, so I was getting all dressed up, and I've probably still got latex and fake blood on my face. I tried to clean up. I tried to be clean for you. But yeah, crazy time, great fun. But I've not really made any Halloween makes apart from these, so thank you so much to the makers for sending me this box. Not sponsored, they just added it as a little extra, which I'm totally pleased with. I'm totally blown away with. They're so sweet to me. But yeah, it's given us some fun projects that I wouldn't have had the chance to make. But yeah, what Halloweeny things have you been making now that it's nearly over? We've just got, I think, Thursday's Halloween, and my friend just informed me that she asked me absolutely months ago, and I said yeah to whatever, because that's months away. But apparently we're going to see a screening of the old film Nosferatu, which I've never actually seen, so that should kind of be fun. So that's our Halloweeny little thing. Wendy, where I live, the people work very early in the morning to be able to get off before it gets too hot. That makes sense. Oh, Wendy's not made anything in months. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We miss. For those of you that hadn't seen when we looked at Wendy's shop in the past, she's a needle felter, but her Halloweeny, her spooky stuff, well, I loved your Santas too, but her Halloweeny stuff was kind of what brought my eye to her spookiness in the first place. A big giant spider with an egg sac using fairy lights to make them glow. That was fantastic. And then her fantastic witch, and not only a witch, but the witch with a huge story of, an entire story of her life history, not just the person. They were so cool. I mean, everything's cool. And Wendy's made a beautiful white rabbit in his waistcoat and everything, and Santas that were awesome. Mary's not done anything Halloweeny yet. I've booked for 4 Christmas dolls, so I've been working on my pudding production line. I love the sound of that, a pudding production line. But yeah, that's been the problem with me, is I always want to do something Halloweeny, and then it creeps up before I know it, and it's too late. I've got to be focusing on Christmas. I should really be thinking of Halloween in the spring. Someone give me a nudge next year and say, Pam, do Halloween stuff. Yeah. Canvas and chroma, huge stack of Halloween fabric sitting there, and only had time to make 2 things. It's taunting me. Oh yeah, you're the same. All the plans for the spookiness, and then it just doesn't happen. Wendy's been making some really teeny stuff for fairy gardens. That sounds cool. And a bunch of stuff for a festival next Friday and Saturday. I love fairy gardens. That sounds cool. Oh, Lily got her sleeping bat pendant done, but that's your Halloween makes done. Has YouTube been skipping showing me videos of yours? I've not seen a sleeping bat pendant. I'll have to dig that out. But yeah, I think YouTube's been really bad at showing people their subscriptions, because I'll look into subscriptions and I like now that people have put things up, like going into my physical subscription tab, and there's nothing there. That's very annoying. I'm one of the few people that go into my subscription tabs to watch things from there. I don't just wait for YouTube to show me it. Olivio's Art Studio, hello there. CJ Phoenix made a tiny blue ghost with a bug eye. Just for Mister, or just for me? Either way, sounds awesome. A tiny blue ghost, brilliant. Oh, and Olivio's I can't say it. Working on a small goddess sculpture. Fantastic. Everyone's so creative. This is fab. And yeah, CJ Phoenix, just for you. Yep. A tiny blue ghost with bug eyes. That sounds so cool. Right. Okay. Can you tell that I'm procrastinating doing the face bit, because this is where it can go wrong. Okay. So we've done this. We've got a pumpkin that's a seamless area just for the face. A small amount of wool, roll into a ball. Okay. I'm nervous. Roll it into a ball. I want a big nose. We should go with a big nose. Alright, I'm looking at the things. Oh, right. I'm just trying to get some ideas of how I'm supposed to be making this. Okay, excuse me, licking my fingers, disgusting, but this is only for me. It's just to get some purchase on this, to get it kind of bowl shaped. I'm going to stab it slightly too. Is that going to be big enough? I want a really big, let's have a ridiculously big nose. So, and yeah, so a nose should be narrower at the top and fatter at the bottom, so I'll kind of triangle it a little bit. And then we're going to pop it in somewhere in the middle of his face. And I'm thinking, right, like if you guys were with me when we did the live stream of making the wizard face, you felt it down the nose as a kind of triangle, and then across the bottom of the nose, because, well, your nose is a kind of triangle. That's pretty easy. So I'm felting it on in a kind of triangular shape. See, Wendy, you totally should have been felting along pumpkin people. I know you can make them. Where are we? Lily, your video dropped in the early hours of this morning and you had a bit of a nightmare uploading it. Oh, well, that's very festive to the Halloween season, but sorry to hear that. Well, I'll check that out. And everyone else, yeah, Lily's done a sleeping bat pendant. That sounds really cool. Olivia's, your name's Claudia. Cool. I will try and remember, but I won't. Remind me like 200 times and I might remember. Wendy, the fairy garden stuff you've made is tiny. You've made hedgehogs the size of your thumbnail. Fantastic. Canvas, big nose, small eyes. It's a backwards anime pumpkin. I'm terrible. CJ Phoenix, awesome. Wendy, love miniatures. Agree, I do love things on a tiny scale. It's super cute. Right, okay, so we've kind of got a nose on him. I don't even know if the camera's kind of picking that up. You can see a bit of a nose. Once the new nose is secure, stab into the base, making the nostrils. Yay! Okay, anyone who's squeamish, I'm going to be stabbing into his nose to make nostrils. So don't mind me, that must tickle a bit. So basically I'm just stabbing again and again and again in the same place, and that'll create dents which will make nostrils, and it will also firm up the nose a bit as well, felting into it like that. Oh, that's a kind of really sick glee I take from felting into nostrils and things. That must really hurt. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry, little guy. It's not nice, but the things you have to suffer for your art. Olivia's or Claudia, you're awful with names. I'm terrible with names. Unless you have a dog. I'll know your dog's name, but not your name. You'll keep reminding me. Cool. Wendy saying, CJ, I lost my mind for a bit. Like, I've been sleeping foxes that are an inch. I like doing miniatures. Yeah, I used to always do that when I was at school and we got into the pottery room. I always loved making little tiny super detailed things in the pottery, whereas other people would be making these massive stuff. I just liked the tiny little details. CJ is fine. Cool. I can remember CJ. Lily Tree, watch and don't make him sneeze. Pumpkin gut bogies. Yeah, I'll try and not do that. That would be disgusting. Right, I think we've got some nostrils. They even show up on the camera a bit. Sorry, little fella. What am I supposed to do now? Okay, it's saying use wisps to cover the join where I've stuck the nose on. Yeah, there is a slight, probably won't pick up on camera, but that way. There's a slight join I can see where the nose has fastened on, so I'm just taking a little fluffy bit just to hide, because you don't want anything to look like seams. That's the fun of needle felting, is there are no seams, so let's keep it that way. Right, just checking some more questions I had. So if you've put a question in any of the comments to my videos, I'll try and get to them. I'm being terrible so far. But Vintage Sunset Beach had a really good question actually, about trademarks. They sell vintage on Etsy, and you have a Disney Mickey Mouse ornament. You're staying away from using Disney in the tags, or stay away from Disney altogether. Am I even allowed to resell a Disney item? I also have some Wizard of Oz character ornaments and use the description Wizard of Oz. Yeah, in the case of vintage, that's totally different. You are reselling a vintage item. The reason that Disney or any of these other places don't want you using their trademarks is you can be selling inferior quality items and using their name, or you're not making the money. But if it's something that somebody's bought and they're selling on as is with no alterations, just the actual item as Disney sold it, then of course the vintage sellers can use Harry Potter, they can use Disney, they can use all these names if that's what that item is. So that's one case where you absolutely can use the terms, because that's telling exactly what it is, and you're not trying to pass yourself off as Disney. That should be okay, unless anyone knows any different and wants to add in the chat, but that's my understanding of that. So yeah, you don't have to worry if you have something that is old enough to be considered vintage. Then yes, all those trademark things are completely different. You're telling people what it is. I'm flattening out my nostrils. I need to get his nostrils sorted. Pumpkin needs to have decent nostrils. Right, what's the next bit? As with the nostrils, you can now make larger dents for the eye sockets, and make the mouth. Awesome. Right, so we're going to stab in eye divots and a smile up. So yeah, let's get that done. So the eyes, again, I'm just stabbing all in the same place in a little round circle to make a dent in, and that smooshes up his face and puffs up his cheeks and everything too, which is great fun. Get them doing. Yeah, Leonardo in one of my older videos is talking about promoted listings and said the option to set your bidding on promoted listings isn't there anymore. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And no, for anyone looking who's come to me from my older videos telling you how to do promoted listings, unfortunately Etsy has changed the advertising methods to Etsy ads, and now we don't have that control to set up cost per clicks, which is a pain, but we're still working on it. I should have in the next couple of weeks. I'll let you know how I got on with my tests of trying to hack the Etsy ad system, seeing if I could improve it by more targeted adverts. So we'll see how that went. If you can see, the little eye divots are in. This shows up, all the yellows and everything are picking up way more than they are in real life, but hopefully you get an idea. And then I'm gonna, let's do a happy pumpkin. He's happy to be pumpkiny, so I'm gonna give him a smile. Or it might even be a her. No, it's definitely a him. It's a him. Just gonna keep felting backwards and forwards in a little smile until he gets his little smiley face. When you're doing actual faces, you might have to sort of pad out the area underneath the chin, because that can kind of disappear, but it can look cute if that happens too. I'm just felting all over as well to kind of smooth everything out a little bit too, but he's kind of, I don't know if you can see that, sticking in the mouth brings him to life a little bit. So I'm just going to firm him some more. He is way too soft. So if anyone else has any questions, to bung them in the chat, but I'm just going to read through the comments, what I see. Oh, Skywolf Animation had a question from 2 days ago. Sorry, I totally missed all of these. Is it normal for needles to break in after being used a lot? And then you asked about the silicone mold things. For needles breaking, yes and no. Needles are fragile and they will break, but hopefully, I mean, touch wood, I'll probably kill off a needle right now, but my needles last a whole lot longer than they used to. That now mine actually blunt before they break most of the time, but the trick is always making sure you're pushing in and then out of the piece. You're never pushing in and then bending the needle when it's in. That's when your needles are going to break. They're strong for stabbing in the way, but they're brittle when you try and twist them. So if you just get in the habit of just gently felting in and out of the piece, not side to side like that, that's what will cause them to break. And don't force them. How I used to break them a lot was when I was putting them into my stabbing cushion just to hold them in place, and I would have like needles poking up like that and just come and knock them by mistake. So keep them somewhere safe. But it's any kind of bending force that can cause them to break. So over time, you should hopefully find that your needles break less. I certainly found that mine did. Lily saying you should try and do a proper felted face sometime. Absolutely, they're good fun. I am still planning my faces. I don't know if they're in shot. My faces I was creating a couple of months ago. I think I've got a nice little, not too difficult method to make decent looking faces. So I am planning to make a proper video on that. But yeah, last year that my needle felted wizard face thingy that we did in a live felt along, super easy, makes a Santa, makes a all sorts of things. But that was a wood whittler's tutorial that I saw and felted along. I was like, we can felt in where he's carving out, and it made an awesome face. And yeah, these pumpkins are kind of fun. That's working. What am I supposed to do? Okay, fill the eye sockets with white wool for his eyes, clearly. I'm good at this. So I'm just taking a pinch of white, splitting it as evenly as I can into a wee trick. Not that I'm an expert, not that I'm very good at this, but to tell if you've got it kind of evenly with a little bits, kind of roll it between your fingers and you'll feel this side's way bigger. So we'll take a pinch out of one side and swap it to the other, and they feel not bad. So rolling them into little kind of balls, flattening them out a wee bit and popping them into the little eye holes that I made for him, and that will give a nice bit of contrast. Hopefully you'll be able to see him a bit. You could also stick on googly eyes. Googly eyes make everything look better. I think everyone should always have packs of googly eyes in their pocket just for comedy moments. Right, has we got any more questions? Oh, but lots and lots of lovely comments. Thank you everyone who's putting lovely comments. That is lovely. Oh, I think I've got all of them just now. It's just loads of lovely things. So if anyone has any other questions or anything that they want to share with me, that would be awesome. It keeps me distracted from the stabbing, but we've got the whites of his eyes in. That really pops. Then we're supposed to take the green, which I don't know what I did with the green curls. This is the problem because I've been doing this over a few weeks. So have I got green anywhere sitting here? Oh, I do. It's not the right colour, but I've got a bit of green, so that can be his eyes. So that's just going to be a smaller circles. So again, taking a pinch, splitting it as well in two as I can, rolling it up. This might be too much, but we'll see. Ben's just next to me. He's thirsty, so he's kind of, you can just see him kind of go, his tongue's getting stuck to the top of his mouth. but he's too lazy to get up and get a drink because he's comfy. So I'm just going to take these and pop them as near as I can, smack bang into the middle of the white. And the green and the orange of the pumpkin go really well. I wish I'd had an even brighter green. That would have looked even more awesome. And obviously where you place these will give him more expression. He could be looking up and down or cross-eyed. Cross-eyed would... I want to do cross-eyed. So I'm putting them slightly in towards his nose a little bit. I think that would be fun. But it will show up better in a minute when I add his black pupils, hopefully. But this means that if the camera picks it up, there's the green and then the white is just at the outsides. And I think, yes, the next bit is black. So a little bit of black. So just going to roll 2 tiny bits of black and put them in at the middle to give him his cross eyes. That's the great fun about these kind of things, is when you do this sort of thing, you can give them their own character depending on what's starting to look good. I wish I'd made his eyes even bigger now and he could be even more Glaikit looking, but there we go, definitely cross-eyed. Felt that in a bit more, but that kind of worked. Yay. Let's check the chat. Canvas and Chroma. Someone at my workplace went around and put googly eyes on a bunch of things like the coffee maker and the soap dispenser. It's really the only thing I look forward to. Oh. I've seen people do that, like on their like big power tools and stuff, just put googly eyes. I think it's awesome. Mary, you'd like to buy one of the wooden holders? Oh, absolutely. These are brilliant. I love these. I got my wooden holders. I haven't tried many. My first ones came in a kit from World of Wool in the UK, and I also ordered some off of Amazon, I believe. Just wooden needle felting needle holders. And I found them great. The ones I ordered from World of Wool and Amazon seem to be the same ones. Other people talk about something that I think would be useful as well, where you get them that they're slightly longer. I haven't showed you how these really work. It's really quite simple but cool. So it's a little holder in wood and then a little kind of wooden cork that fits into that has just a little dent pushed out of it that your needle fits snugly into, so when you push that down it just attaches really nice and secure. And what people have said was some of the longer ones, what you can do when you're not using your needle is you could turn it around and you can put it into the holder. Unfortunately that's as far as this one goes. This one's too short to be able to do that, but that would be an awesome way to store them if you're going on your travels or anything. You can turn them around and then your needles are secure and in the holder that you want them to be in. So yeah, so anywhere, look, eBay, Amazon, as I say, these ones are World of Wool and I really like them a whole lot. It's made a huge difference in me not getting, I think it was repetitive strain injury on my hands, because it's just that slight bit wider to hold on to rather than holding on to just the bare needle. Yep. Lily says he does look very happy. He does a bit. Right. Are we to put black in the mouth? Oh, we're not. Yes, we are to whisper black in the mouth. Yes. So, because I had a bit of a wisp of black left over, so I was hoping they were going to tell us that. Right. A little bit of whisper black in the mouth, and then I'll show you his wee smile. We are nearly there. This is a super easy project. Been quick and easy, and I think you can't really mess it up, because if he looks a bit Glaikit, if he looks a bit stupid, if he looks a bit squint, it's all good. Yeah, but we're there with that. He looks a bit Glaikit, a bit stupid looking. And then it says you have different options now. Add a seam to the centre of the pumpkin's face. Right, yeah, so I could felt down. I don't think I want a seam in the front of his face. I think I'm happy with him like that. Oh, I like this though. Yes. So we can do a little, yeah. Okay, it's not going right down the face. They just want to do do it on the forehead, so I'm going to do that. I like the look of that. So I'm just felting backwards and forwards over his forehead, which is probably what gives him that daft expression now. And then taking some, this is different green wool than what I already used, but taking some green wool from the center and into these lines. Oh, look, that's too perfect. But anyway, from this, the center of the top, and then out over each of his lines, I'm just taking this and making a little bit more, so he's got more greenery on the top. It's cute, and it's saying we can make a stalk for the top of him, but that I was describing that very badly, so it's just like a little bit of green that I'm taking out into each of the seams, especially the one on the top of his head. That's brilliant. Yeah, that looks really cute. So again, I'm going to say the makers have done it. This little project has made me laugh. I think he's been good. Marcia is very cute, amazing craftsmanship. Oh, you're too kind. Thank you. This is just a bit of fun, but the directions have been great. Mary, that's great. You didn't know how easily they worked. Yeah, when I got them, I didn't know how they were, and I kind of took them apart. It's like, that is so good, and you can just use your favorite needle in it really easily, and you're constantly breaking your needles. That will hopefully get less the more you practice. I broke a lot more at the beginning. I know I'm tempting fate that I'm gonna break one live on air. That's bound to happen. And I did find when I moved to the felting tool, it took a bit of getting used to, because the needle's slightly off to the side and you've got an extra end, so I did a few times bash it and break it and stuff until I got used to it, but now I'm used to it. Okay, right, everyone's saying I need to add the pump. I need to give him a mohawk instead of making him his stalk, which would just be like a little tube of felt that goes on there, but we're saying he wants a pumpkin mohawk. You guys have spoken. What can I do? Now I want to give him a nose ring if we're making him a pumpkin. There we go, the words that I can't say. I wish I still had some of the green curls sitting about somewhere, but I don't know where they are. They would have been cool too, that I put in my witchy person. But okay, but you guys spoke. You guys spoke. You want a punk, so a punk we will get. So I'm just putting on bits of green and pinching it between my fingers and felting between my fingers, not into my fingers, to make a kind of fin on top of his head. I love you guys, this is fun. That's the good thing about felting with you all, is you come up with ideas for me that I wouldn't have thought of, so that is cool. Brilliant. I wouldn't have thought of doing the punk, but there we go. Wendy says she breaks them all the time. You're a rough stabber. I disagree. I think because Wendy her items are so beautifully large and really well felted in as well. So I think obviously the firmer and more you're felting something, the more risk to your needle. So I don't think you're a rough stabber. I think you felt down to a lot firmer than I do. So that's going to risk the needles too. Punk, and we said I think it's going to have to be a green nose ring. I've never felted a nose ring. This is brilliant. So CJ is saying yes to the nose ring, and Wendy is nose rings are good and maybe a lip ring. Brilliant. You guys don't want to make it easy for me. I've never made a nose ring before, and I've never made a lip ring. I'll have to see if I can figure out how to do the lip ring. You guys are making it harder for me. But fun too. I'm loving this. Lily saying to Wendy, remind me not to upset you. A canvas and crow maze and the death metal band Brutal Squash. Love it. Okay, is this gonna work? Right, sorry little guy, we have to pierce your nose. Don't, right, just bite down on something. You'll be fine. So I'm felting up into his nose and then around to the outside. Oh, I hope this works. It's a little bit fuzzy, but I'm sure you'll get the idea. How am I going to do a lip ring? I'll think of something. But just a little... No, I don't... Oh, I shouldn't really have chosen. Someone should have stopped me and said, Pam, not green around the nose. There's a reason not to put green nose rings on. Should have told me that. But it's too late now. But I think it's kind of working as well. Apart from looking like a booger. Right, and lip ring. Because his lips are quite dented in. If I was felting again, I would have put extra padding there, but that's cool. Right, we'll just see if we can manage a lip ring in the green as well. Our little rebel pumpkin. It actually looks like a little tongue. I'll show you in a minute. I'm teasing. I don't know if it looks like a lip ring, but it looks like something. It's maybe a bit more like pumpkin guts coming out. But yay, we made a little punk rock pumpkin. Where did we get to? Everyone's laughing at Canvas's idea for him. I think that was brilliant. Wendy does make everything felted really firmly. Lily, yeah, jump rings would be absolutely perfect. Unfortunately, I don't have jewellery stuff sitting about. Wendy, yeah. It's a booger. I made him sneeze. He's allergic to sheep. You ladies are funny. Yeah, you guys. This is great fun, guys. Thank you so much for the ideas. But yeah, this is my little guy. So, yeah, when you get off here, make a pumpkin person out of whatever medium you make stuff in. Because that was a bunch, and we can have our own pumpkin death metal band from all the characters. I'm afraid I don't think he gets to be the lead singer. He's possibly not even drummer. I think he's the roadie. I'm afraid I think he's the roadie. But see if you can make the rest of the band. But that was fun, and that was a good little project. I enjoyed that. So I'm going to say thank you again to the makers. I'm looking for somewhere to put my needle. Thank you again for the makers. And if anyone's looking for kits, I think these are excellent. I think every one that we've tried has been a fun project. And the only one that I didn't struggle with, but it was with the pumpkin people, because I was an idiot and didn't notice that they'd included even more instructions in it, but we still managed, and she was awesome. But yeah, they've all been great fun. I've learnt something new or had a bit of fun and a different technique. So, and today I've learnt that you all like punks. Wendy saying you guys gave me great ideas. Cool. Demoted pumpkin. Sorry, little guy. I know we can't all be lead singers, you know. Sorry. CJ, he's a great pincushion. Yeah, felted wool things like this are actually supposed to be good pincushions because the wool's really good for your pins. So if you're looking for a little kind of gift to give people, heavy metal pumpkins. But yeah, we can maybe look into other things that we can make, like little daft old men, pincushions. I think that would be great for the little old woman that's doing her sewing and everything and annoyed at her husband, and she's got a little ugly scared man pincushion head. I think we're onto something. Genius. I think that's maybe what we'll try one of these next times. A little old worried man pincushion head. Anyway, guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. Lily's asking, what on earth are we going to come up with for Christmas? Yeah, good question. I don't know. This is the great thing about live. We never know where we're going to end up. It's nothing to do with me. It's all you guys thinking up this nonsense. But right, I think that will do us. Yeah, thank you all so much, and I will catch you again next week. So thank you for hanging out.